Oh, hi everyone. Welcome to the Raymond and Aaron show.
The show where we talk about musicians that you've probably never heard of. But that's okay because we've done expensive research and made sure to pick the very best musician for you.
Yes, we've gone through dozens of saxophonists, and sadly, we are only able to present one. Now, unlike a normal boring presentation that we would have normally done, we won't be throwing walls upon walls of text at you, so sit back and enjoy.
The saxophonist that we have chosen to research is James Moody, born on March 25th, 1925 in the small city of Savannah, Georgia. He was raised by a single mother and had one brother. He later moved to New Jersey and spent most of his young life there. He was then attracted to the saxophone after hearing jazz artists George Holmes Tate, Don Byas, and various other saxophonists who played with Count Basie.
He was born partially deaf, but that was never an issue for him, as it made his love for the musical arts grow even stronger. At the age of 16, he began to play an old silver alto saxophone that was given to him by an uncle of his. A few years later, he heard tenor saxophonist Don Byas and Buddy Tate perform with the Count Basie Band at the Adams Theater in Newark, New Jersey. After hearing the music of countless saxophonists, it electrified Moody and helped convince him to dedicate his life to playing the saxophone.
He joined the U.S. Army Air Corps African Americans Unit in 1943 and played in the band until the year 1946 on a segregated base led by trumpeter Dave Burns, who he would play with in a band in the near future. Moody also met a trumpeter named Dizzy Gillespie, whom would soon become a lifelong friend and mentor. Moody and Burns were blown away after hearing Gillespie's performance at the military base in Greensboro, North Carolina. The two talked to Gillespie and informed him about their upcoming discharge from the Air Force. In response to their outstanding performances in the band, Gillespie invited them to audition for his band in New York City.
A few months after failing to succeed on his first audition, Moody was able to join Gillespie's All-Star Bebop Big Band in 1946. By joining this band, Moody was given international exposure and the chance to create his own improvisational style. The 21-year-old Moody was overwhelmed and impressed by the orchestra's awe-inspiring range of talent, which includes the supreme vibraphonist Milt Jackson, Clark on drums, bassist Ray Brown, Monk on piano, Dave Burns on trumpet, and arguably one of the 20th century's greatest creative artists, trumpeter Miles Davis. It was during his first recording with the band that Moody established himself as a superb soloist.
He made a startling impact on Gillespie's 1946 version of Eminent, in which he opened his now famous 16-bar solo with a quite surprising trumpet-like sounding burst of notes. The solo was very different compared to any blues solo that was ever heard, thus the bebop sound was born. Why don't we take a listen?
Oh yes, I am ready.
Good.
Whoa there.
What a great performance. Give it up for James Moody. Okay, back to it. A year later, Moody recorded with Jackson for Dial Records. And in 1948, he made his recording debut as a leader, using players from Gillespie's band on James Moody and his bebop band for Blue Note Records. What was his most popular recording though? I'm pretty sure it's coming up around the corner.
That, my boy, is a legendary piece named I'm in the Mood for Love. A little backstory on this before we can take a listen. In 1949, Moody moved to Paris, where he lived with his uncle. He frequently played at this club Saint Germain and toured around France, Scandinavia, and Switzerland, recording with various American stars such as Davis and Clark. While he was in Paris, he got married and had a daughter. On October 12, 1949, while in Sweden on a 2-week nightclub engagement, Moody recorded his version of I'm in the Mood for Love, the risky improvisational masterpiece for which he is now renowned for. He recorded it with a group called James Moody and his Swedish Crowns.
Let's take a dive into the super duper beat bop hip hop diggity dig dog piece of jazz.
Okay. As fate would have it, the legendary Swedish saxophonist Lars Gullen dropped by the studio to hear Moody in action. The song changed Moody's life and launched a fresh new career for him back in the US, where the song has become a huge hit when it was released by Prestige Records. Due to the racism he experienced in the States, he at first refused to move back, but instead decided on doing so in order to capitalize on the record's success.
At this time, Moody also played tenor sax and the flute. When he moved back to the States, he then formed a septet named Moody's Septet. How clever. Where he recorded his first song as a flutist. At this point, he was now world-renowned for his warm, rich, pleasant, elegant tone. In fact, here's a great sample of his type of sound. Let's take a listen. So damn pleasant.
Yes.
Around the middle portion of his life, he began feeling tired of the constant touring that he had to do. And not too soon after, in 1958, a fire destroyed all his instruments, uniforms, and arrangements. He began turning back to alcoholism to get away from all the loss and stress. Not much happened in this time of his life. Nearing the later years of his life, things began to pick up from before. However, things will never reach the peak of where he was before. He has passed the years of his prime. He teamed up with Gillespie again during the 1990s and won a Grammy Award. He then toured Europe and the United States with the United Nations Orchestra.
In 1996, Moody released his first Warner Bros. Album, Young at Heart, which was a tribute to Frank Sinatra. In the late 1990s, he received the honorary degree from Florida Memorial College and won the Jazz Masters Fellowship Award from the National Endowment for the Arts. Things were moving as soon as he was put into the Jazz Hall of Fame and released the Warner album, Moody Plays Mancini.
However, sadly, on December 9th, 2010, in San Diego, California, James Moody died of complications from pancreatic cancer. Let's talk about musical style, shall we?
Ah yes, bebop, a wonderful style of jazz that came from the US in the 1940s. There are many things that characterize bebop, such as the fast tempo, complex chord progressions, and fast changing of chords and key.
Not to mention the instrumental virtuosity and improvisation required by the musician. Swing was big bands, bebop is improv.
Bebop was very angular, chromatic, and rhythmically complex. There also was no duplication in the rhythm sections. Pop quiz, name 5 instruments that were typical of bebop.
My boys. Drum, saxophone, double bass, trumpet, and piano.
Yep, and that was the classic bebop combo. But let's get back to style.
Basically, there was a theme and improvisation based on that theme. Basic progressions like 1 to 4 to 5, with some 2 to 5 motion. It also uses contrafact, a new melody on a familiar chord structure. It's a virtuoso music, and a very trimmed down one at that, with few intros, endings, interludes, and backgrounds.
Anyways, unlike its predecessor, swing music, bebop was just not meant for dancing. In fact, it wasn't even meant to attract the attention of major record labels.
That's right, musicians who played bebop didn't care about the money it generated. But can you explain the origins of bebop further?
After the mid-1930s, people were taking swing music to a new direction, and bebop is just the product of these changes. The drummer's timekeeping was less clear and the rhythmic pulse changed from the bass drum to the hi-hat cymbal. Horn arrangements were less elaborate too, and the piano's role was less rhythmically dense and played more accents and fills. Soloists also got a bigger and more noticeable role in the music. In fact, totally radical and creative solos were highly encouraged.
At the end though, bebop evolved into avant-garde jazz and post-bop. For avant-garde jazz in the 1950s, people wanted to obscure the differences between what was written and what came up on the spot. Melodies were composed with preset tonalities and meters. Soloists were discrete from accompaniments, and vice versa. As for post-bop from the 1960s, it was a combo of hard bop, modal jazz, avant-garde, and free jazz without actually being recognizable as any of them. It was pretty harmonically advanced compared to hard bop, a subgenre of bebop.
To add, hard bop was a return to blues and gospel focused. Nice melodies, fast tempos, and catchy songs were all characteristics of hard bop.
And that concludes our presentation on the saxophonist James Moody.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching our presentation, and we hope you have a nice day, all you beautiful people.
And Sam Yard.
Bless.